This is
Hello, everyone. Welcome to group number 3's Table Talk. Today, the organizational frame that we'll be focusing on for this assignment is political. Manning states that the political model has a more amorphous structure with relationships rather than structural principles, and that the purpose of the political system is to make decisions that achieve the goals of the political actors and influence parts or the whole of an organization. And this model can be applied to or combined with other organizational theories, as any structure can include elements of a political system and can be used to help understand decision-making, relationships, and power dynamics. In chapter 8 of Manning's text, she writes, quote, Baldridge's political approach positions executive administrators as the primary decision makers, with faculty, students, and others playing as consultative rather than principal role, unquote. A couple of characteristics of this theory that specifically applied to our current event are conflict as normal, where conflict is natural and to be expected in complex organizations like higher education. And attention cues and privileges refers to the fact that faculty possess privileges from the advantage of academic freedom, as well as expert power. And Kelsey will now explain the current event our group has chosen.
Thank you. The news story or current event that our group chose to discuss deals with a tenured professor in academic freedom. So Dr. Barry Mailer, a history professor from Ferris State University, was suspended with pay on January 11th, 2022, after a course introduction video went viral. In the video, Mailer uses profanity, describes the students as vectors of disease, tells them not to come to class, and that their grades are predetermined, along with other colorful language. The university president said in a statement that he was shocked and appalled, and it did not represent the university or their values. In response to the suspension and investigation, Dr. Mailer has said that the video was taken out of context, and if you watch the whole thing, it is clearly satire, his way of keeping the students' attention. He sued the university, saying that Ferris State has trampled his free speech and academic freedom rights. Dr. Mailer has gotten support from current and past students. The Faculty Association is also supportive of Dr. Mailer and sees it as a threat to all faculty's academic freedom. On January 26th, a federal judge rejected the request for an immediate reinstatement and set a hearing for March 7th. Ivy will now discuss which campus stakeholders are privileged within the frame and the minoritized community.
I'm going to have to bring some laughter to this situation because it just sounds like this is a storm of epic proportions. So yeah, let's discuss who is privileged in this frame. My vote already is going to be the professor has a lot of privilege in this particular situation. And he says so in the video, and I quote, please forgive me for the language. If you want to go and complain to your dean, F you, and go ahead, and I could give a flying F because I'm retiring at the end of the year. And no a-hole administrator is going to tell me how to teach my class because I am a effing tenured professor. He already knows. He has already used the line, he is the effing tenured professor. He knows that that gives him protection against anything that could possibly happen. And he's been doing this for a while. This wasn't a one shot off situation. This was I've been doing this for a while. Everyone complains every year. So this is normal to me and I'm still here, deal with it. That's kind of like his standpoint, and basically this is something I know I learned in my master's program. I don't know if any of you had the same law class that basically said when there is a tenured professor, they have to do something really egregious, like almost commit murder, in order for them to be knocked out of their position. So again, it's kind of been this historical frame that, hey, you're a tenured professor, we really can't do anything about it. We just have to wait until you decide to retire. And that didn't happen necessarily in this case. Now, if you look at it from the other flip side, so if we have someone who is privileged, right, automatically there's someone who's not going to be privileged in this situation. So we have a minoritized folks in this context. And I feel like it's kind of twofold. So first, I would say the students, and it's funny because I tell students most of the time, well, you have the power to change things. You have power to do things. And then I say, okay, that's true, but to what extent? And in this particular case, they got the short end of the stick. You know, if I was a freshman student looking at that video, I probably would have cried, not understanding, you know, this is the way he teaches. It's satire. Don't worry about it. I would have cried. The other context of folks that we need to discuss are other faculty members and adjunct professors who do not have the protection of tenure to go ahead and say the things that they want to say without, you know, fear of retribution or being fired, or staff member. I think Tammy and I were kind of talking about this earlier about if it was us, if it was a staff member, there would be no conversation about us having tenure because it doesn't exist for staff members. And we would probably have our stuff packed up and they'd be escorting us out at the end of the day. We'll see you when we see you. Don't call us, we won't call you. So that's the situation you would be having going on right now. So, you know, I think that there, you know, are some pros and cons, and we're going to get into that discussion later about, you know, where's all this coming from. But, you know, it gives us a few things to think about. So Sarah's going to turn it over next and kind of discuss some more frames and context.
Yeah, thank you, Ivy. Yeah, when we look at sort of the considerations and differential responses from the political framework, really, it's not hard to stretch how this has played out from the political framework. It's very much in alignment, you know, setting the standard that conflict is normal, that power and authority is key in political organizations, and everyone was sort of playing their role. The faculty member has made it very clear that he does not care what others think and that he has the power to do this and no one can do anything about it. President's response is that they're shocked and appalled, but it's implied in a number of the articles that this professor's behavior is not new. And so one of the questions is, you know, is this his responses because it went public? But otherwise, it's not surprising. Has there been any reprisal for this faculty member for this behavior in the past? It's suggested not. So really, you know, the faculty union is supporting him. He doesn't care. They're playing sort of the political game where everyone is sort of falling in line with their roles. But it's really unclear what, you know, where sort of people's true opinions or feelings lie. So then one of the questions is how decisions might differ across campus. And I'm going to hand that over to Amanda.
Thank you. I think we kind of have all touched on it a little bit about where there would be differences, but it would definitely be with the varying degrees of power and authority that different groups on campus have. So faculty, staff, students, administrators, unionized, non-unionized, tenured, non-tenured, all of them have varying levels of power and authority and privilege, kind of like we've already all talked about. But where do we all think that the frame showed up in campus decision-making?
There was a meeting before the meeting, y'all. We just didn't know it. No, I'm being real. Like,
Yeah.
Again, so let's set the stage again, right? So this professor has been doing this for years. This is not
10.
anything new. The
No.
only 10 years. The only reason we're having this discussion is because it went viral. The
Mhm.
whole world got a privy open door to what was going on. So I'm going to tell you right now, he probably wasn't liked by someone either in the administration, and my dogs clearly don't like him either, or in his department. And they had a meeting before the meeting and was like, here's how this is going to go down. We don't want him in the department anymore. We're going to stick together and make a stink. And that's going to be our exit stage left. So when we say political, you don't get any more political than that.
And as we mentioned earlier,
shady dealings.
students have loved him. He's been revered by students over the years. Current, past students have spoken out about how much they love him. So he's an asset to the campus in a certain regard. It's just the way this went public that the campus suddenly has to be engaged and respond and make public statements about him.
Well, and especially now too with faculty, whether they agree with him or not, like this is going to impact them. So whether they liked his video, thought it was appropriate or not, like this is definitely going to impact their academic freedom. And now he's taking it to court too. So,
and there is a question as if his video is satirical, which is part of his claim, but it's really like that doesn't even matter when looking at it through the political framework in terms of his intent or not. It's really how to manage it.
All right, that's all the time we have. We look forward to talking with the rest of you throughout the week. Thank you.